All right, so welcome back. Today we're going to talk about really where the rubber hits the road in terms of AI and your website being found, being quoted, being referenced, trusted, that kind of thing. So as everybody knows, AI is scanning your website and web domains right now. It's important to understand there's basically two types of AI that are visiting your website today. The first kind is called an answer engine. Those are like Google AI Overviews or Bing Copilot. Those are part of a traditional search engine, and they look for special stuff on your website. The other flavor is what's called LLMs, or large language models, like ChatGPT or Gemini. They're also coming to your website, but they're looking for different stuff, okay? This is all happening right now, today. So what we're going to talk about are the things that you need to do, things you need to understand, how to make your site accessible and referenceable, quotable, trusted by the answer engines and by the LLMs. All right, cool. So first, let's dig into answer engines. Right. So those, like I said, are part of the existing search engines, Google, Bing, etc. And they use those that infrastructure and the information that's available to the search engine sort of as the primary way to go and find the information. But they look for a special kind of data, a special kind of information on your site. It's called structured data. Okay, uses a special type of format called schema.org markup. Now, what it is, it's a script, actually. It's a script that lives in the source code of your page. And it effectively is a rewrite of the information that lives in the web page itself, but it's structured specifically for these answer engines. Okay, so they can basically come in. They don't really look at the content. They look for these blocks of data, these scripts in the source code, okay? And so that's a really important thing to understand is that the answer engines are primarily looking for that structured data, and that's really what they're using to quote, okay? So it's important also to understand that they work differently than the large language models like ChatGPT, Google Gemini, et cetera. Okay, so let's talk about those for a little while. The way that those systems work is they use plugins, web browsing plugins. So when you say, hey, ChatGPT, go search the web for this, or go to this web page and tell me what's in it, what ChatGPT is actually doing is using a plugin, a tool, and it's going out to that website. It's looking at the text that's in the website. It doesn't look for the scripts. It doesn't look for these structured data. Okay, it's actually looking at the content. Now, here's the thing. The LLMs are designed to provide answers, right? So it's conversational, question and answer. Tell me about this. Go find the answer. Here's your answer. Now, since the LLMs today are actually looking at the copy in the page, that requires optimization. Okay, so what that basically means is you want to remove all the marketing language and fluff. You really want to focus in on the messages and the information that people are going to be seeking, right? So you want to answer questions. So structuring that information, the actual words in your web page, to be more conversational in terms of answering specific questions. Now, you have to also take in mind traditional search engine optimization, which is, of course, keyword density and all that kind of stuff, right? Those things are still really, really important because the search engines are also still looking for your content. And even though more and more people are using the LLMs as their primary search tool, there's still a lot of people using the traditional search engines. So we're in this kind of, hybrid phase right now where there's lots of different flavors of AI coming to your web page, and you want to be able to optimize for all of it. Now, here's another interesting wrinkle as it relates to the LLMs. Okay, recently there's been a lot of talk about a new type of sitemap for AI. Okay, it's called llms.txt. llms.txt, right? So what that is basically, like I said, a sitemap. So it has all the URLs for all the pages within your website, but it has a whole lot more information too. So it uses what's called metadata, right? So metadata describes data. So what that llms.txt file contains, like I said, is not just the links downstream to those web pages, but descriptions of what is in the web pages. The LLMs are looking for that. Okay, so they're looking for that llms.txt in the root, and if it's there, it helps them understand exactly what's on your site and where to find it. And then what it'll do is it'll find what it thinks is the right answer, and it'll go downstream, browse that page, and it will then consume the text in the page, and then we'll synthesize an answer. Okay, so those are the two main things to think about today, right? The answer engines, that requires the structured data. It's called schema.org markup, and it's a script that lives inside the source code of your web page, and it lives there in addition to the words, the copy that's in the web page, okay? Now, that's for the answer engines. The LLMs, ChatGPT, Gemini, so forth, they're going to look at the content, the words that are in your web page, right? And they're going to synthesize an answer from that. But they're also going to look for this llms.txt file in the root, right? The root of your domain, to understand what content is on your website and decide if it's relevant, and then go downstream and look at that content and then provide the answer. Now, that's all stuff that's happening today, right now. In the near future, with the announcement of Google's A2A, agent-to-agent protocol, this was April 9, 2025, they released that on the Google Developers blog, that ushers in a whole new phase, okay? It's basically the beginning of a new World Wide Web, but for machines. It's happening under everybody's nose right now as we speak, okay? A new web is being developed, not for humans, for machines, for AI. And Google's agent-to-agent protocol is what enables AI agents and large language models, LLMs like ChatGPT, Gemini, so forth, to discover AI agents that are accessible on your web domain. Okay, so the future is not AI agents or answer engines coming and reading the content in your web page. The future is LLMs, AI agents speaking directly to other AI agents that are available on your web domain. Okay, so those are the two main differences, right? So sort of to summarize today, the things you can do right now to get seen, to get referenced, to get trusted by AI, which is answer engines and LLMs, is add that structured data to your web pages. That's really important to get referenced by the answer engines. Modify the content in the words in your website. Get rid of all the marketing fluff. Get right to the meat of it, right? Answer questions. Really structure that information so that it's going to be easily accessible and easily referenceable by the LLMs. And add an llms.txt file to the root of your site. Do that today, and you will start to see enhanced quote, enhanced discoverability, and references to your content, right? You still need to index it to search engines, do all the typical stuff, okay? This is an enhancement, but it's really going to help in terms of being discovered and referenced by those LLMs. And then for the next phase, what's going to start happening pretty much next year, 2026, LLMs and other AI agents are going to start scanning for these machine endpoints. That's the Google agent-to-agent protocol. It's, tells AI and LLMs where they can find your agent. So you're going to need that, and you're going to need an actual AI agent, not a chatbot. Not a chatbot. You'll need an agent that is task-oriented. So you need an agent that can answer questions, but can also do things like book meetings, send quotes, so on and so forth, right? That's really the future, and that's this next World Wide Web that's evolving for machines. It's an agent-to-agent web. All right, so that's it for this episode. I hope that sheds a little bit of light on some of the confusion and some of the things that you can do today and some of the things that you can do to make sure you're well positioned to take advantage of this AI economy for tomorrow. All right, so we'll see you next time.